So Miss Kaplan wanted us to make a video about Africa or something. So we read our chapter and found that it was really boring.
Yeah, no one wants to read our chapter.
Of course, hardly anyone else is going to watch the other videos either, because kids in our generation either like to text or sleep or gossip in school.
What?
I mean, how does she expect us to make this interesting? Our chapter is about Southern Africa, or the part of Africa that was little affected by slave trade. I mean, that's cool. Slave trade is interesting. It's fun to talk about.
And these guys had weird names, Khoi Khoi and Hottentots. These guys were the same group of people. All they did was hunt and gather sheep after they made contact with the Bantu. So exciting.
Are Hottentots food? So peoples practicing farming and using iron tools were living south of the Limpopo River by the 3rd century. Probably Bantu speakers. They spread southward and established their villages and cattle herds in the fertile lands along the eastern coast.
Whoa, wait a minute. So they spread southward, but their cities developed eastward.
Southeast, Aaron.
Oh, okay. So, if the Bantu got all the good land, what did the Bushmen and the Hottentots have?
Sonic?
No, the Bushmen and Hottentots were left with the dry western region of the Kalahari Desert.
Calamari?
Kalahari.
Hakuna Matata?
Mixed farming and pastoralism spread throughout the region too, through migration, peaceful contact, and warfare.
Peaceful contact and warfare? How does that work?
I don't know, it's Catholic class, nothing makes sense.
By the 16th century, the Bantu-speaking people occupied Wall Street. I mean, they occupied much of the eastern regions of southern Africa. And they practiced agriculture and herding and worked iron and copper into tools and weapons. They also traded with neighbors. Sounds a lot like the rest of history. In history, all you have to know is people trade and they're herders and some of them have slaves. It's not really much of a surprise, but it is in the chapter, so we are covering it.
They spoke related languages such as Tswana and Sotho, as well as New Guinea. How do you say that?
No one knows, Robbie. Just keep going.
Languages such as Zulu and Xhosa among the Zotho. Villages might have contained as many as 200 people.
Men worked as artisans and herders.
Of course they worked as herders. Everyone worked as herders back then.
Women did the farming and houseworks and sometimes organized their labor community.
Politically, they were organized into chiefdoms.
What's a chiefdom?
It's like a kingdom, but with like a chief. Anyways, the chiefs held the power with the support of their relatives and with the support of the people.
The Bantu's pattern of political organization created a process of expansion that led to the competition for land.
So basically they just kept going south until they met some people there.
Who were the people that were already there? It was the Dutch who arrived back in 1652. They established a colony at the Cape of Good Hope.
That's a stupid name for a cape.
It's kind of ironic, isn't it? I mean, like, Good Hope, here comes the white guys.
No, because they had large farms that depended on slaves from Indonesia and Asia. And then they even got slaves from the local Africans.
Hey, I thought this chapter didn't talk about slaves.
The expansion of the Dutch colony resulted in wars with the Bushmen and Hottentots, who were basically rejects by them.
By the 1760s, the Dutch farmers crossed the Orange River.
Orange soda?
In search for new lands, they saw everything as theirs to take because they were greedy white men.
By about 1800, the Cape Colony had about 17,000 settlers, or Afrikaneers, as they came to be called, 26,000 slaves, and 14,000 Khoi Khois.
Hottentots. So basically, the Dutch kept moving northward, the Bantu kept moving southward. They fought over more land and had wars, and more Europeans came to make life hard on the Africans.
But in 1834, the English abolished slavery, and the Dutch couldn't have fun anymore, so they went further up north.
Oh, the Dutch went further up north? That's a real shocker.
Among the Nguni people, a unification process had begun in some of the northern chiefdoms, and a new military organization had emerged.
I'm a new military organization emerging!
In 1818, leadership fell to Shaka, a brilliant military guy. who made the military better with discipline and tactics.
Among these new tactics was the use of short spears for close combat.
Expecta Patronum! Shaka's own Zulu chieftain became the center of the new military and political organization. Basically, he was a big bully who took whatever he wanted from his enemies, bringing power to the Zulu.
So even though Saka brought power to the Zulu, he was still a jerk, so they all hated him, and they killed him in 1828.
The rise of the Zulu and other Nguni chiefdoms was the beginning of the Mifeking.
Wars of crushing and wandering.
A bunch of other African states started copying the Zulu chiefdom. So basically the Zulu model was trending.
Except for one hipster nation who thought they could be all cool and go against the mainstream. These were the Lesothos, which pretty much defied everything the Zulu said.
Lesotho, the hipster nation, because Zulu was too mainstream for them.
The whole of the southern continent, from the Cape Colony to Lake Malawi, had been thrown into turmoil by raiding parties, remnants, and refugees.
So basically, the way this chapter ends is when they continue to keep fighting and killing each other for land and other resources, to the Europeans continue to try to force their control on the Africans, and the slave trade goes back up again, the prices go up, so not much of a Hollywood Disney storybook ending, but whatever.
Can I help you?
Yes, I'd like a small order of Hottentots.
Small tater tot?
Yes, the Hottentots. That's all I want.
Okay, I'm having a hard time understanding what you're asking for. I'm gonna send somebody out there to help you out, alright?
No, the tots. The tots is all I want.